Hello again, this is RC, Rank Carcass. I am going to be continuing my Global War 1936 scenario for the 1936-45 Global War game. And this time we're doing, as you can see, Japan. So, a couple quick things to show on the map here. Japan, I'm using the red units from Pacific. My cruisers and tacticals have the yellow paint on them. My fighters and destroyers have no paint. They're typically red. My battleships and my heavy bomb and my strategic bombers will have black. All right, and transport's got the white. So a little rundown on that if you're wondering what the paint's all about. And that little gray chip there, if it's underneath anything, that means it's a low-tech or old stuff. So I got just off Korea there, I've got a sub, which should be a coastal sub. I just haven't painted any of my coastal subs to be red yet. And here I have a torpedo boat destroyer, so it's under the gray chip, that regular destroyer with a gray chip. All right, now let's get into this. So Japan starts off at full income, which is the equivalent of wartime income. So 36 scenario, you're starting with 16. You're making 16, and that's the value of all your territories at 16. You do get a bonus of +3 for U.S. oil trade, and that's right here. Let's see if we can zoom that in a bit. It's a little hard to read from this far away. All right, so that's right here. So U.S. trade reduced by 1 each turn that Japan makes at least one combat move against China. So per turn, it goes down to 1, right? So you're making $3. You attack China 1 turn. Now this has changed to $2 for the next turn. For that turn, your bonus. So you can attack 6 places in China and take them, but this will only be reduced by $1. The second turn you attack China, it'll be reduced by $1 again to 1. The third turn you attack China, it will be reduced to 0. And that's you being aggressive against China, not China fighting you back. If China fights to retake territory you already took from them, that does not change things. All right. Not too much to say about Japan, money-wise. It's very similar to Germany. You're at full income, and everybody else is going to start ramping up depending on what you do. So there's a couple of things that are very important about Japan. And I'm just going to, these Japanese special abilities cover them quite well, so I'm just going to move to where we get a little less glare and hopefully not so much shadow. There we go. And we'll zoom in on that, and I'll just run through this quickly. Okay, war status. Let's do that first here. Japan can declare war on the Allies and Comintern, yes. Germany and Italy, no. Nationalist China, Communist China, yes. Any minor, yes. So everybody except for Germany and Italy, Japan may declare war upon. All right. All right, so here we got the Japanese surprise attack. I'm not really going to read everything specifically, but 1 land or sea zone, only 1. Right, so if you need to fight a naval battle before you do an amphibious assault, whichever's first is your surprise attack round. So that would be the naval battle before amphibious assault, if you're going to have to fight ships to land in Calcutta, for example. So on the turn, you may make 1 surprise attack on land or sea zone, on 1 land or sea zone. Turn declares war on British Commonwealth or USA. So you have to initiate the war, though, right? If they initiate war on you, it negates it. Very similar to the surprise attack on Soviet Union. Attack may be used against Commonwealth, French, Dutch, USA, not China or Soviet Union. So there you go. And all Japanese aircraft gain first strike. Japanese ships +1 combat movement, which is very handy. That is cumulative with a base. So your transport at a base goes regularly 2, but the base gives it to 3. And then this combat movement bonus will make it a 4 move. Right? Same with your battleships and carriers. So Japan's got an extra reach. All enemy units receive a -1 defense on the first round of combat. So, very handy to have. Alright, but you have to initiate the war. If they initiate it on you, this is negated. It will not happen. Veteran infantry and fighters, identical to the Russian guards type thing, only you can have fighters and infantry, and that including mountain, regular, marine, or cavalry. Apparently cavalry are counted as infantry in this. Each time Japan wins a battle, roll a d12 for each Japanese land unit that was eliminated in combat. On a 12, you may promote 1 regular infantry or 1 fighter to veteran status. All veteran units are +1 attack and defense. This would become elite. Now this one here, dug in defense. Japanese land units defending any zone in their home country gain a +1 defense. Japanese may also claim this bonus when defending Okinawa, even though it is not home country. And for that, home country for Japan, I'm going to have to zoom you out here because, there we go. Home country for Japan is Sapporo, Tokyo, and Fukuoka. But Okinawa also counts only for this. So you can only build a shipyard, you can only build a major factory in the home country, which is these 3 land zones on the island. You'll notice that there's no city, so instead of having a city bonus, you're getting this dug-in defense bonus. So all land units defending any zone in their home country +1 defense, right? And that's every round. And that includes anything, right? So, alright, civilian defense. Japan may produce militia on the home islands of Japan, Sapporo, Tokyo, Fukuoka. I'm saying that totally wrong, I'm sure. And Okinawa for the cost of 1 IPP beginning January 45, or any turn there are 5 or more U.S. transports in the Pacific. So, if you're Japan, you'll notice that the U.S. has got 1 there, 2, and 3 transports with a little white paint on them. So they just need to put 2 more in the Pacific, and you can build militia for $1 on the home islands of Japan, Okinawa, and these 3 land zones in the main island of Japan. All right, transport. This one's a handy one. Japanese may transport infantry class units on a destroyer. Such units may amphibiously assault from the destroyer. A destroyer is -1 to its attack and defense value while transporting infantry. It's not specifically mentioning anything about bombard, but I would say it would be also. We typically say it's -1 to bombard, since that's technically an attack. And since it bombards at 1, it bombards at 0, so that's eliminated. Well, so infantry class, drag 1 along. You'll notice now, let's take an example here. See this Navy here? You've got 3 transports that can carry 3 units of any type, plus 3 infantry. And then you have these 3 destroyers that can also carry 3 infantry. So you can bring along 6 infantry and 3 tanks with that fleet right there, using only 3 destroyers and 3 transports. Handy to notice. And this is a very important one, because if Japan gets this island nation here, Japan's ability to get money from the outside the home nation can be blocked if at least 3 surface warships, like you've got to blockade the ports, right? So here, let's zoom this out again. Papers too. Get it zoomed in for the paperwork, and the map would be impossible to watch here. All right, so there's C Zone 1 here, or sorry, C Zone 38. covers this entire side of the island and all of Fukuoka, right? Now Season 56 covers this side, east side, of Sapporo and Tokyo. So that's one on each of these sea zones, and this sea zone and this sea zone are the same. So if all these ships, if Japan either loses its fleet or drives its fleet away, the enemy just needs to have 3 surface warships. So that's not submarines, not transports, but any other warship, including a carrier with an aircraft, that counts, or without an aircraft. So if they have 3 on this side in this sea zone, they've effectively blockaded this port and this port. And then if they have 3 more on this side, they've blockaded that. That blockade, when in place, prevents Japan from getting income from anywhere except for these 3 places. No shipping can come from Okinawa. This convoy line of 5 is shut down. You can't convoy for extra because all that income's not coming here. They can own territory in Manchuria, all of China, doesn't matter. They collect nothing except for the 1 for Sapporo, the 4 for Tokyo, for 5, 6, 7. You can knock Japan down to 7 income. So if you're Japan, don't let it happen. The writing will be on the wall if you have that happen at the end of your turn. 1 turn with $7 income fighting the US, you will be sunk. Alright, the only other thing that's different, I believe, was the armor. They do still have heavy armor around here. The old setup sheets I had, Japan had regular cost armor, but in the last version update, they've updated medium armor, right? Attack 6, defense 5, nothing's different there. Move 2, cost 8. Everybody else it costs 6. Same availability, January 40. They do have heavy armor on here still as a tech. I guess Japan could get it as a tech. And heavy armor is attack 8, defense 7, moves 2, plus 2 to cost though. So if you look at it this way, that's 8, right, for regular armor or medium armor. And then for heavy, it's plus 2, so it would be a $10 piece of heavy armor. Whereas Germany and Russia are buying that for $8. Right? You'd almost be better off as Japan sticking to the dead aircraft. It will have a higher attack defense and only cost $2 more, but you can use it on land or sea. And in Japan, you're in land and sea at all times here. Very similar to the US. It's part of why Japan's so fun to play, because you're not just stuck on a land theater like, Russia or Germany typically ends up being. You're a little more like the Italians with the German money. You get a little bit of land, you get a little bit of water, you're busy. So, a couple things to note here. Alright. Japan does call, let's see, what else do I need to do here? I'm just going to pause the video here and double check that I have everything I need, and I will continue this in a second. Alright, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back for part 2 of this video here. I just needed to gather some of my paperwork and make sure I had it all together. I was going to do something about the Kamikazes. I'm just going to briefly list them. I'm going to have to do a separate video just about Kamikaze, because it's the rules in this game are a little bit different from the other Axis and Allies type games you may have played. So we'll just hit Kamikaze quick. If enemy ships are within the sea zone of the Japanese homeland, including Okinawa, Japanese may make up to 2 kamikaze attacks per turn to a game total of 6. These are made at an attack of 7 with target selection versus surface ships of 1 to 5. So basically it's a tactical bomber attacking at 7, but instead of target select it's 1 to 5, and it's only 1 round. And you don't actually need a physical plane. So, Okinawa doesn't have any planes. You can bring in these two Kamikaze chips. I got these at Historical Board Gaming. You can get them wherever, or you can use anything you want. The ones out of box from Global 40 work as well. I just like these ones. They're nice and bright, and they're easier to pick up, and all that other fun stuff as to why you would use the chips. And they actually come in a pack of 6. I believe it was a Global 40 basis set. And I bought that one. It came with some fancy acrylic markers that through Historical Board Gaming. It came with the 6 Kamikazes. I think it was 25 of these naval bases or ports. I can't remember. That's why I have the 2 different kinds here. And 25 air bases, I think. And it came with a couple of damage tokens and some whatnot. General Hand Grenade's got a video on that, but I'm not going to go over all that right now. Okay, so that's enough on that. So Kamikazes, I'm going to have to do a separate video explaining how things work because the rules are different. You cannot scramble to create a naval battle, and there has to be a naval battle already in place before this Kamikazes can get thrown into it. And they cannot create a naval battle on their own. So I'll do a separate video on that. Alright, so that's that part. Now let's get into the money. The money, because the money is what drives the war machine for Japan. Okay, so I already did I went over this peacetime bonus thing. U.S. trade reduced by 1 each turn. Japan makes at least 1 combat move against China. So, like I said, you can roll in here and attack all 6 of these bonus income locations for you in 1 turn and take them. That reduces this income by 1. So it'll be at 2 now. And then turn 2, you roll in on the second wave and attack China. Reduces it to 1. Turn 3, you do it again in China. Now you're at 0. So it's per turn. It goes down 1, not per attack. All right, Japanese war income. And yeah, this one is available whether you're at war with anybody or not. And you start the game not at war, collecting this. All right, wartime bonus income. Each for possession of Borneo, Java, Malay, Philippines, and Hawaii. So that's $2 each. So we have Borneo, Java, Malay, Philippines, and the Hawaiian Islands, or Hawaii. All of those are worth $2 extra, and you'll notice that most of them are worth $2 on the board as well. So this, if Japan owned it, would be face value of 2, bonus of 2. So that's a $4 price for Japan. So the U.S. probably won't want you to have it for more than one reason. All right, second bonus, possession for each of Midway, Wake, Solomon Islands, $1. So let me move my paper over a little bit. The Solomon Islands are right here, nestled just between the Carolines, Marshalls, and New Guinea, right there. Wake and Midway each, so that's a +1 bonus for Japan. There's no face value on any of these, but Japan does make $1 if it owns that one, this one, or this one. Excuse me. Been talking for a while here. Now, I'm going to list these names off and pronounce them all wrong, and then I'll tell you it doesn't really matter what the names are. Each for possession of Chinese territories: Nanking, Taiyuan, Peking, Henan, Zhejiang, and Guangxi. +1. So +1 each. There's 6 of them, and I said all the names wrong, but they are located here, 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 and here. And this one actually wraps around to there. All of these are all of the Chinese territories that are starting off as Chinese or warlord that are on the Pacific coast. That's all you need to know. The 6 territories that are Chinese on the Pacific coast give the Japanese a $1 bonus each when they are at war with a major power. And that's the other caveat here. They don't get the bonus from the Philippines or Malay or Borneo, whatever. Like, they can attack the Dutch, but unless they're at war with a major power, and the Dutch don't count, they're minor, they don't get the bonus. They don't get the bonus from China unless they're at war with a major power, such as the Commonwealth, the US, Russia, right? France. Alright, so that's that. Now let's go into what Japan can do to make everybody else get a little bit armed up, because Japan seems to be aggressive. It's identical to what's going on the other side of the map, only it's different people for different reasons, which is why the Japanese and the Germans need to play together, or one side will rule the world and crush its ally on the other side at the same time, right in a hurry. Not a good way to go. Okay, so let's see. This is peacetime bonus incomes, right? So this is a permanent increase to all nations here until they reach their full wartime income. So USSR, Japan attacks or possesses a Mongolian land zone or Xinjiang. +5. Well, Xinjiang is here, and Mongolia is these 4 land zones here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if Japan possesses any of those 4, or this one, the Russians are going to go up $5. Any major power initiates war with USSR at any time. Full income. So yeah, Japan attacks war on US. Because of course, war on somebody, they go to full income because they're suddenly at war status. Alright, this is the US. They got a whole pile here that don't care about Japan. There we go. So Japan initiates war with USSR. It's +D6 for the US income. Japan initiates war with British Commonwealth or France. Ignore Poland. That was a house rule. Poland would count as the +2d12 for any other neutral. It was a house rule we had where we mimicked that, but it's irrelevant. So Japan initiates war with British Commonwealth. 5 d12s for the US if Japan attacks anything British or Anzac or France. If these guys attack Japan, this is negated, and the US does not get the 5 d12 bonus income. So keep that in mind, Japan. You are better off having them declare war on you. All right. Japan initiates war with China. US goes up +3. Japan initiates war with any other neutral. 2d12. Japan completes a battleship, carrier, or light carrier. +2 each. And that's complete. So moves it to the place units box. I'm going to just move over here for a second. I gotta crank this up. We'll show this because this will apply to everybody all at once. Ignore these 3 light carriers in the back that are Japanese that are sitting on these US roundels. These are not to be placed even on here until the US is at war, or Japan is at war with the US. Either initiated by either side, doesn't matter. That's why I have them sitting on the US roundels, so both sides can go, hey, what the heck? So Japan may not move these forward, may not place, may not, build further stages of these until it's at war with the US. Now, this carrier, for example, is placed here on the setup. It would have been placed here if you built it fresh, but doesn't matter. You can move it here, no income increase. But as soon as you move it to the place incomes, or place units, it's completed. The US will go up $2. And I believe something happens with the other allies as well relating to that, but I'll go into that right now. Okay, so Anzac only cares about Japan. Japan attacks Netherlands, East Indies, +3. Anzac, Japan initiates war with KMT. Notice it's KMT specific, a warlord or The communist Chinese does not count for this bonus. +1, even though the warlords will become KMT after they've been attacked. That's the key. Okay, FEC, all about Japan. So Japan attacks Netherlands, East Indies, +3. And obviously, these are all like for, you know, you've declared war on something. They're going to go up. They're not going to keep going up every turn. Japan initiates war in China with anybody, KMT, CCP, or warlord, +1. Axis possesses Yunnan, +2. And Japan completes a capital ship. Notice it's a capital this time. They don't care about light carriers, only the US does. And just for sake of reference here, Yunnan is right here. It is where the destination of the Burma Road is. It borders all these territories. And it is where the rail line comes in from Hanoi, or the French Indochina. So if Japan takes that, there's a bonus to the FEC. All right, UK, there's a few here, but a lot of them don't apply. Okay, Japan initiates war in China with anybody, +1. UK, or this is the British, the UK, Europe income, right? Anyone initiates war with France, full income. As I said, ignore the Poland. All right, and what have we got here? We've got the French. Anyone initiates war with British Commonwealth, full income. France doesn't care about Germany there. Okay, and Axis initiates war with China or Netherlands, East Indies. +1. So I would assume China and Netherlands, East Indies is +1 each. So that's it. Netherlands, East Indies, it would be these Dutch roundel territories down here, signified by that roundel. And China is obviously China, and it's not specific as to which faction, so it's any part of China. So anything that's light green, dark green, or yellow. And right now in this setup, I have the light green as the warlords, the dark green is KMT, and yellow is CCP. I didn't have a dark green one of these little ships here yet, so that is the Chinese as well, the KMT's torpedo boat destroyer. All right, so that's that for all these incomes. So primary point to make here is you can ramp up production for the British against the Italians and British, US, and French against the Italians and the Germans if you get too aggressive on this side. So work with your partner. You are a team. You will win this game as a team, or you will lose as individuals. And if you're the same guy, then it'll be easier to do, but just keep an eye on that. So yeah, and the bonus, as you noticed, was just Borneo and Java. It doesn't include all the Dutch East Indies like it does in Axis and Allies Global. And the setup here is identical to the neutral build charts or neutral setup charts. The only difference is I put in the bases that are part of the setup if you are playing with the Netherlands fights back. I do not have the oil derrick on here because I do not play with those in this game. It didn't seem smart to put that down for one thing. All right, and that is the Netherlands setup, if you're wondering why there was bases there. Yeah, so that's it for the economics and the national abilities or special abilities of Japan. I will do a separate video here on some actual tactics. I don't want these to turn into hour-long videos. And another one on the Kamikazes, because that one is you got to go into amphibious assault or naval battle rules, scramble, all that. Yeah. it's too much to get into in this video. I'll do that separately. All right, hopefully this helps you out, and enjoy your day. I'll see you later.